Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SAS Via Release Highlight Show. I'm Tiago de Souza, and today we'll be talking about what's new in SAS Via as of July 2023. For the first time on the show, we have a brand new segment called Into the SAS Viaverse, hosted by David Vike, a SAS Via expert who works out of Germany in our beautiful Heidelberg office. As a daily SAS user, David will highlight all the can't-miss updates and features from this month's release. Then, for our Release Talk segment, we'll hear from Derek Hardison and Robert Ansa about our brand new integration with Snowflake. A big challenge in working in AI and analytics is that 80% of models never make it into production. SAS Via and Snowflake's integration helps train models with SAS Model Manager or SAS Intelligent Decisioning and publishes them to Snowpark Container Services. SAS Via now integrates with Snowflake's container services, and users can import their data into Snowflake and easily bring it into SAS Via to get it ready for analytics. Then they can seamlessly keep working on it all in one integrated environment. This feature is in private preview, so we're giving you an exclusive first look before it becomes widely available. If you love using Snowflake and SAS Via and want to learn more, take a look at the Snowflake partner page on SAS.com. But that's just an overview of everything you'll hear about today. Let's jump into the SAS Viaverse. David, it's all you.
Here we are inside of the new and improved SAS Visual Analytics, what I would call the snappy update. As you can see, the whole homepage has been brought in line with other tools like SAS Information Catalog or SAS Intelligent Decisioning, with this nice homepage where you can easily navigate through your content that you have already created. On the right-hand side, see what reports you have currently open or can restore a previous session, and connect with the broader community and see updates within the software. Let's jump into this report and take a quick look at how things are looking. You can see things look familiar, but they have been visually updated and made a lot quicker. So let's open up the data pane, for example, and you can simply select new data, drag it onto a new page, and everything happens instantaneously. It's much, much quicker. We can add a suggestion up top, for example, and you see that things really interact and connect together much quicker, much more easy. And this also extends throughout the whole of the UI. So if we add the automatic action to all objects and just start on selecting things, you can see how the breadcrumbs update nicely up top, and you can quickly manage them up here as well. So let's jump from SAS Visual Analytics into SAS Studio, where we will be taking a look at our ability when we are creating SAS job definitions to now use the JSON or step-based prompts instead of the XML task-based prompts. We will go to New, Job Definition. Here we can write, of course, our SAS program. We head to the right-hand side pane, where we'll click on the first icon to associate a form, use the task prompt one. And here you can see that we have an additional tab now available to us called the step prompt. And you also get the note that this is currently only available through the SAS Visual Analytics interface. Let's take a look in here. And what is cool about these step prompts? Well, as the name suggests, they are related to the custom steps framework that we all know and love within SAS Via. So if we go to New and say Custom Step, you can see that when you create an interface here, and just drag and drop checkboxes, drop downs, whatever into the design part, you can go to the prompt UI side of things, copy and paste this code or this JSON and store it inside the step prompt JSON. So you now have a visual tool to help guide you building the interfaces that are the front end for your job definitions. And currently, you can only use them within Visual Analytics, like you can see in the report here. But I'm sure this will change over time where we can then also use this within SAS Studio and other applications. So we were already coding in SAS Visual Studio. So now let's go really deep into code. We see with this release, the release of the SAS Via Visual Studio code extension in version 1.0, the first major release, and it's a big one. Because while we also have a bunch of little and smaller features, we also get SAS notebooks. That's right, SAS notebooks, similar to Jupyter notebooks, can help you write SAS code, SQL and Python code just in one simple notebook where you organize your code into cells. You see the result log and the ODS output underneath the cells that you run. With that, let's take a look at the new custom steps that have been added in the last month. First up, we see a step in the natural language processing family to extract rule configurations. This is super helpful to make the rules that you apply to your text more understandable and help you guide explainability when it comes to your model output. The second step that has been added this month is the ability to translate text that is stored within your SAS datasets using the DeepL API to use industry-leading translation for all your textual data within SAS. And for our special shoutouts this month, we have embedding any code anywhere into SAS programs, which deep dive the abilities and disadvantages of different approaches on how you can embed different types of code into your SAS programs, like the include procedure, the embed macro function, many more. Super interesting read if you're doing more than just SAS code. And the SAS CTL for R sees a very interesting update that you definitely should deep dive on. And there's an awesome article that looks at how you can take a tidy model and import it into SAS Model Manager by automatically creating scorecard for you. This is a super helpful feature, and I'm pretty sure people that work in R will really appreciate this guidance and also the whole RSAS CTL functionality. With that, I hope you have enjoyed this monthly update and see you next month. Bye-bye.
That was David Vike with our new Into the SAS Viaverse segment. What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments. But now let's learn more about the SAS and Snowflake integration in this month's release talk. Hello, Robert and Derek. Welcome to the show. To start us off, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at SAS? And let's start with Robert.
Yeah, hi, Tiago. Thanks for having me. I'm a product manager with SAS, covering our decisioning runtime portfolio. So that includes the SAS container runtime, as well as the microanalytics service. And this is part of our overall decisioning portfolio at SAS.
Very cool. Derek, what about you?
Yeah. Hey, as much as Robert, excited to be here, and thank you for having me. I've been at SAS almost 12 years. I've had a multitude of jobs from technical support, pre-sales, and consulting. But as of current, last couple of years, I've taken on a leadership position in our product strategy organization, managing the teams that focus on really the core fundamental ground layers of the platforms we provide for data and analytics.
Very nice. Thank you both so much for being here. We're here today to talk about this partnership. Can you tell us why SAS decided to integrate with Snowflake?
Yes, certainly. Although we've been in conversations for several years now, as of recent, some of the technology advances they've made themselves has just opened doors for us to do more and do more rapidly. But we're also listening to our customers, the nature of the gravity they're generating with the data cloud. And then, of course, the first-in-class analytics that we provide for just the data and analytic interoperability through the analytic and artificial intelligence lifecycle. It just makes good sense. And we've got some things out there now, and we're still in strategic conversations to continue to deliver more.
Gotcha. Great backstory there on the why. It just makes sense. But can you tell us exactly what we're integrating?
Yeah, so a couple of weeks during the Snowflake Summit, they announced their Snowpark Container Services, which is a managed Kubernetes service sitting on Snowflake infrastructure. So in SAS, we've had the ability to deploy models and decisions inside of databases and as well as container registries for some time now. So now with this new announcement, this enables our SAS container runtime to actually land inside of the Snowflake registry. And once it's in Snowflake, customers who have Snowflake today can store their data within the database without having to move data. So we know in the cloud world, data movement is quite expensive. So this enables minimal data movement as well as higher security with your data inside Snowflake.
Very cool. So many powerful Viya capabilities being fully realized with ever having to leave Snowflake. So we covered the why, we covered the what, but how does this integration actually work?
Yeah, so today within our SAS model manager and intelligent decisioning, that is where the SAS container runtime is enabled. So once you publish a model or decision, we have within SAS our publishing destinations. So we've added a publishing destination for the Snowflake registry. So once you click publish, once you have your model or decision and it's complete and you're want to put it into production or even test it, then you can publish it and that will send the containerized model or decision into Snowflake. And once it's in Snowflake, customers can use regular SnowSQL, which is their version of SQL, to interact with the model and create scoring services to operationalize their data and also score models in production as well.
Awesome. And I believe Robert has a demo prepared for us today. So let's go ahead and roll that.
So we'll begin in SAS Viya. On the left side here, under our Analyst Lifecycle, we'll start with build models. In our data set, which is our credit risk decisioning data, BAD is our label or the target variable that we're trying to model, and the rest of the variables are our features or our inputs. So we've already generated a pipeline using SAS automation, and this is SAS building the pipeline on our behalf using the metadata that's in our training data set. So to do this, you would add another pipeline and select automatically generate the pipeline. Here you can set an automation time limit. This is how long SAS will train your pipeline for. And within advanced settings, you can specify which algorithms to consider as part of the automation training time, and also which algorithms you want to force include into the pipeline to make sure that SAS uses those models. Of course, you also have the option of building these yourself. So on the left, we have our preprocessing nodes. This is going to be your filtering, imputation, various transformations. And we also have our supervised learning. So this will be your random forest, gradient boosting, and various models that you can add to the pane. And it's as simple as dragging and dropping onto the pane, and that will be added to the process flow. As you select various nodes, the respective options pane will populate on the right. So here for our variable selection, we can choose what type of variable selection we want to do, how many steps, and what correlation statistics we want to use. Likewise, for our gradient boosting nodes, we can specify what is our target metric. So for this gradient boosting node, the champion or the validation criteria is being done against the misclassification rate, but we can change this if we want to, and we can also enable auto tuning. So now I'll go into the pipeline comparison. And we can see that our champion model is the ensemble model, and that was based on the lowest multi-class log loss. But we've actually gone ahead and registered our gradient boosting model with transformations. And that's because ensemble models are somewhat harder to interpret. So for interpretability purposes, we've gone ahead with our gradient boosting. And if you look at the multi-class log loss, the performance is not that far away from what we got with the ensemble model. So if we scroll down at the bottom, we have various plots and statistics that we can use to see how well our model performed. But we also have the DS2 package code. So this is the actual score code that we're going to containerize from this model and deploy in a container along with our decision. So now that we have our champion model registered, let's go into intelligent decisioning. So the next step in our life cycle is build decisions. And here is a sample business process flow that a bank, for example, may have. So this has to do with approving and denying credit or a loan. So for example, here, if we look at our low ratio rule, we have the approve rule that says if the value of the loan is greater than 120,000, the reason is for home improvement or debt consolidation. And the customer has less than 15 lines of credit, then we're going to approve. If not, we have another rule for reject. So you can see it's basically just a bunch of if-then rules that we have in place. And we want to strengthen this by incorporating the gradient boosting model that we created in our pipeline before. So I'll go into my content. You can see the gradient boosting with transformations, model that we registered. Drag and drop that onto the pane, and I'll go ahead and validate just to make sure that this conforms to ID's standards. And once that's finished, I can go ahead and publish this decision. So the destination is going to be the Snowflake registry. So within Snowpark Container Services, they've also created their own registry where you can land your models and decisions for use in creating a service within Snowpark containers. So I'll tag this as prod. And for the published name, I'll call it loan risk. And we'll publish. Okay, once we get the note that says the decision has successfully been published, the container is now living within the Snowflake registry. And so next we'll jump into the Snowsite UI and build our scoring service. So within the Snowsite UI, users can use SQL to then interface with the model or decision and build scoring services against this container. So the first thing we did is we added a YAML file, and this YAML file contains the configuration information for our service. So pointing to where the location of the image resides within the registry and any other environment variables that you want to include within there. Next, we'll create a service. So what this is saying is that we want a minimum of 1 instance of our container and a max of 3. In the future, Snowflake will enable automatic pod scaling. So that is a feature that will be coming down the pipe. But for now, you can specify the number of instances you want. And if we show our service, we can see the risk decision service that we created there is now live. And if we check the status of our service, we can see that we have successfully created 3 instances and 1 is running and the 2 are in the ready state. Check the logs for our service. And if we expand this out, you can see the SAS decision container runtime. So this is the container in our publish step in the SAS Viya interface, the container that landed inside of Snowflake. This is where it's pointing to. So now we're going to create a scoring function. If you recall, our endpoint is loan risk. So that was the name of the container. That was the name that I gave the container when I clicked publish. So we create a scoring function. And within Snowflake, we have this data set, home equity line to score. So these are a batch of customers that we have within Snowflake, within our Snowflake data warehouse that we would like to score in batch. So we're using our scoring function that we created, and then we're going to score that batch of customers in our Snowflake table. So if we look at our results, the EM event probability variable, this comes from our gradient boosting model. So it's giving us the probability that a customer will default or be delinquent on a loan. And by default, anything 0.5 or above is considered a 1, meaning they are at risk. And we also have additional variables to determine whether or not a customer will be delinquent and other variables that we can use for reporting and whatnot.
That was a great demo. It's always very helpful to see things firsthand like that. But what are some common use cases of how you can use SAS and Snowflake? Say if I were to work in a government organization or healthcare, how could I actually use this kind of stuff?
Yeah, great question. It's completely industry agnostic. We do, of course, have our solutions for industry specific, value-based, analytic opportunities to advance your business, increase revenue, protect more lives, this, that, and the other. But in essence, what we're really doing at this nature is the operationalization of your production analytics. So by the demonstration and the descriptions that Robert shared with us, we're really taking any IP, whether it's shared by SAS, whether it's created by the customer, whether it's a joint effort. We are taking that value that decisioning or that model, and we're putting it into production in the data cloud that is Snowflake. So again, some of the nature of what's been mentioned, we're moving the workloads to the data instead of the data to the workloads. From a latency perspective, from a time to value and realizing your results, the performance is just magnificent. So we're seeing a greater time to value. And also with that, there does come an opportunity to have more cloud economics in the nature of, not pushing data, but more just consuming it at place.
Perfect. Sounds like there's lots of different angles to hit this from, and sounds like it's just a win-win all around. One final question for you here. How can someone learn more about this partnership if they're curious, and when will it be available for everyone?
Absolutely. We love the fact that this is probably very much something a lot of folks are going to be interested in. Please check out our website. We have multiple things already available today, from the nature of query building and audience building and CI. We have our connectivity, which is to, of course, access the data in Snowflake. And this most recent announcement, which is where we're taking production analytics and operationalizing them in Snowpark containers. With that is still in private preview. So we're really waiting for, in this case, Snowflake to go GA with it. But our capabilities are in place, and we'll be advancing that, of course. But as I alluded to earlier as well, we are in strategic conversations constantly with Snowflake now. And we are hoping, and we're not hoping, but we will be generating a more long-term horizontal strategic roadmap that will share with new capabilities to come. Again, just complete interoperability for the artificial intelligence lifecycle is what we're striving for. So those that have data in Snowflake and either currently use SAS Analytics or want to use SAS Analytics, just know that the strategy is coming together, and we are going to do a lot more among our two companies, and we're very excited about it, and hope you are as well.
We're all very excited, and we'll keep an eye out for that roadmap. Derek, Robert, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Thiago. Yeah.
That was Derek Hardison and Robert Ansa telling us all about SAS and Snowflake. If you're watching the show and you are not using SAS Viya yet, why not try a 14-day trial? The trial gives you full access to SAS Viya capabilities, including preparing data, creating and viewing reports, building models, automating model deployment, visualizing event streams, and so much more. So try it out today. It's completely free, and you can get access to the trial at sas.com/Viya. Also, don't forget to register for SAS Explore, SAS's user and technology conference, to be held from September 11th to the 14th at the Aria Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. At SAS Explore, you'll learn best practices and see real-world examples of how AI is transforming the way we work. With more than 100 expert-led sessions, you'll leave equipped to excel in your role, enhance your productivity, and drive better results. The first mover rate has been extended to July 31st. Register today and save $500 off the standard rate. To learn more and to register, go to explore.sas.com. Well, we've reached the end of our show. However, we will be back at it again next month with more guests and highlights. If you're watching this on YouTube, why not give us a like, subscribe to the SAS Users YouTube channel, and click that bell so you'll get notified for new videos and when we go live for our next show in August. Until then, comment on what topics you'd like to see in future shows. I've been your host, Thiago de Souza. Thank you for watching, and stay chill, everybody.